Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Khalil Burhani. Today I will present you about the assignment 4, which is the requirement analysis and negotiation from group IF. The title of our project is Health Monitoring System using IoT device. Before we go to the analysis and negotiation, we should look at the requirements. The requirement that we have gathered during the elicitation phase. These are the numbers, the number of the requirements, the stakeholders, and these are some questionnaires or the technique that we have used to gather the requirements. We are going to analyze these requirements. These requirements, after analyzing, there will be found some incomplete, unnecessary requirements, any infeasible requirements. That's why we need to analyze the requirements that we find, and we get the feasible requirements without any confliction. There are many ways or techniques that we can use to analyze the requirements. The technique that we have chosen for analyzing and to analyze the requirements is the requirement interaction. Specifically, we have chosen the interaction matrices. With these techniques, the requirements will be interacted. If you see here, you can actually understand there are the columns and the rows. The column and the rows label with requirements. These requirements, each row and column, they will have an interaction point. For example, if you consider requirement 1 with requirement 2, there is interaction between these two requirements. So based on this interaction, we can find three possibilities. If the interaction, if you see here, if the interaction between two requirements label or mark with 0, it means that requirement is independent. If the interaction between the requirements are marked with 1, it is conflict, and if they are marked with 100, they are overlap. So these are the problems that we have, especially the confliction and the overlap. These are the problems that we can find during analyzing the requirements. And there are some ways and there are some techniques that we can remove the overlap, or we can resolve this, and that is the negotiation. The negotiation requirements can overcome to this problem. For the negotiation, there are also some techniques that can apply to remove the overlap and to resolve the other problems, or the confliction of the requirements. So for the negotiation, we have chosen the meeting techniques that we can discuss with stakeholders, and then we can prioritize the requirements, and then we can choose or agree with the final requirements which can be applied for our project. There is an example of the overlap, that how we can remove the overlap from the requirements. As you saw in the matrix, there was some overlap. You can see here requirements 3 with requirement 8, requirement 3 with requirement 9, and also requirement 4 with requirement 11, and some overlap requirements are listed here. So here in this example, I have chosen one of them, that how we can remove the overlap, that we can have a feasible requirements and minimize the requirements. At the same time, we have enough requirements for our project. So for our requirements, we came to the conclusion to remove them. How to remove them? We had a discussion, after a long discussion, and we already prioritized the requirements, and then when 2 or 3 requirements are overlap to each other, we choose only one of them, and the others are uh, deleted, and we proceed our project with the remaining requirements. This is how we can remove the overlap. For the confliction is actually some requirements denies others and they are conflicted to each other, and this is some tricky that you should understand how to resolve this problem. Actually, these problems are, uh, for example, uh, there are 2 types of requirements. At the same time, 2 requirements are necessary and they are conflicted. But how we should resolve this problem? There is a way to resolve or to solve this problem is by modification. We modify the requirements. For example, if you see here requirement 12 and requirement 15, they are conflicted. You can see here the requirements is hospital can only help when it is in servicing, but in requirement 15, system must always check patient health condition, but always and sometimes, or always or only when the service when it's servicing, there is a confliction. Here we can modify the requirements. How we can modify the requirements for the hospital, that it will be serving 20 hours a day. It's a fact that usually the hospitals will be working, or they will have shift workers, or they will have in a way that can uh, you know access the patients all the time. It means always. And for other requirements which are not able to be modified, they should be prioritized, and based on the prioritization, the requirements confliction will be removed. Okay, that was our presentation about the assignment 4, which is the requirement analysis and negotiation. Thank you for watching.